1,000 years ago, there were a lot of philosophers searching the truthfulness of all things on earth. One of those philosophers is Democritus. Democritus, known as the laughing philosopher, for his capacity to laugh at human folly. Because Democritus is often featured as laughing, the Abderans believed he was mocking the follies of men. The life of Democritus. Many claims that Democritus was born from 460 BCE and died at 370 BCE. Born in Abdera, a town in Thrace in northern Greece, which had originally been settled by Greek colonies from Ionian city of Teos in present-day Turkey. He was known as father of modern science. Democritus was materialist. He was concerned with what the world was made of and believed in material things. He believed in atoms and the void of empty space. And a popular atheist, for no more than his teacher did Democritus involve the gods in his cosmos. And so, also with him, it can be said that we have no statement of his swearing to it, but at least, in all cosmological matters, he should be regarded as an atheist. He was known as father of modern science. Democritus is a dominant pre-Socratic Greek philosopher and first Greek atomic philosopher from Thrace, northern Greece. One of the two founders of atomic theory along with his teacher Leucippus. When his father died, Democritus spent his inheritance on extensive travels to distant countries to satisfy his thirst for knowledge. He is reputed to have traveled to Persia, Babylon, Asia, Ethiopia, and Egypt for 5 years, being particularly impressed by the Egyptian mathematician. Works by Democritus. Diogenes Laertius gives a long list of books written by Democritus covering ethics, physics, mathematics, music, and cosmology. His famous works were the Great Diacosmos, World Order, the Lesser Diacosmos, but have survived only in second-hand reports, sometimes unreliable or conflicting. Democritus and his philosophies. Atomism. Democritus had the idea of the existence of atoms and elaborated the Leucippus ideas of atomism. He believed in atoms and the void or empty space. His philosophy about the soul of human. Although intelligence is not allowed to explain the organization of the world, according to Democritus, he does give praise for the existence of a soul, which he contends is composed of exceedingly fine and spherical atoms. He holds that this way, he viewed soul atoms as being similar to fire atoms, small, spherical, capable of penetrating solid bodies, and good examples of spontaneous motion. One of his philosophy is about happiness. He quoted, "Happiness resides not in possessions and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul." Democritus believed that happiness was a property of the soul. He advocated a life of contentment with as little grief as possible, which he said could not be achieved through either idleness or preoccupation with worldly pleasures. Contentment would be gained, he said, through moderation and a measured life. To be content, one must set their judgment on the possible and be satisfied with one has little thought to envy or admiration. He also considered education to be the noblest of pursuits, but cautioned that learning without sense leads to error.
Philosophers who opposed and agreed to the ideas of Democritus. Epicurus, Lucretius, and Galileo traced the physical theory of atoms to modern times. Their philosophy was connected to atomic theory, but it's quite different from how they believed. Epicurus. He believed that everything, whether material or spiritual, is made of atoms. Since the physical world was the real world, Epicurus felt that physical pleasure was the best goal, and that all knowledge was derived only from the physical senses. Lucretius. All things were composed of atoms, even immaterial objects, such as mind and soul. He did not deny the existence of God, but even God was made out of atoms. After Christianity had grown popular, he was denounced for what was considered to be atheism. The idea of atoms and the existence of such particles were highly disapproved by Aristotle and Plato. Aristotle. He believed that all things were composed of four elements, which are earth, fire, air, and water, which come from the idea of Empedocles. Aristotle was very thorough in his research of the writings of those before him, and he credits Leucippus as the originator of the atom. He mentions no predecessors like Democritus. Plato. His ideas are more fundamental than the object, and since he believed the smallest parts of matter have to be the objects whereby the simplicity of the world becomes visible, whereby we approximate to the one and the unity of the world. Plato wanted to burn all his writings, but he couldn't do because Democritus' books were already in wide circulation. It is probably about the abolishment of supernatural being by atomic theory that made him to disappoint and led him to deteriorate for over 1,000 years. His philosophies have contributed not just in the past but also today and for the future. And his contributions are Democritus' theory of atomic nature of physical world. Like what I said a while ago, it is that universe was made of atom. Democritus was able to explain all changes in the world as changes in motion of atoms, or changes in the way the atoms were packed together. Democritus' theory elaborated further on how nature behaves. He explained that by atoms, moving randomly and colliding to form larger bodies was how the universe began. His other contributions are, he is the first philosopher who realized that the celestial body we call the Milky Way. He proposed that the universe contains many worlds, some of which may be inhabited. He contributes to mathematics, especially on geometry, in the form that observed that a cone or pyramids has 1/3 volume of the cylinder or prism, respectively with the same base and height. Now, let's watch a video that we can relate his philosophies to our own life.